All right, if you were watching this video, you wanted a couple more examples, or maybe you didn't want, but you need a couple more examples of metric conversion problems. So we're going to do a couple of them together. Make sure you have this chart in front of you. I've got these marks on it still from when we were doing the example in our notes. I've got a couple problems here, and I drew a new little chart on it each time. So I'm actually going to sort of slide this one over to the side so that we can focus on this. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to keep these steps right here in front of me so that we can make sure we're walking through the steps as we go through each problem. All right, so yeah, we'll start here. So we've got our first example problem. 3,000, I'm going to see if I can focus this a little bit more. And that's as good as it's getting. 3,250 milliliters, and we want to know how many, millimeters, I think I may have said milliliters, how many meters are in that. So we're going through our steps here. First thing we need to do is rewrite the number with a decimal in it. So this number doesn't have a decimal point displayed, but there is an invisible one there, and it's right here at the very end after the 0. So I'm going to throw that decimal point in there. Okay, good. Step number 1. Step number 2 is find your beginning and end on the line. I'm starting at millimeters, and this whole M thing screws students up all the time. So again, remember, if we have an M in front of something, that's always going to stand for milli. The only time it's ever meter is when it's alone. So if I see an M attached to something else, I know that that M is for milli. So my starting point is at millimeters, right here. And my ending point is just at M. That M can't stand for milli because milli is a prefix. It's not attached to anything. It has to have something else here. Millimeter, milligram, or milliliter. This is just an M, so it must be meter. So my ending point is here at my base unit. So let's slide that back. All right, so we've got our starting point, our ending point, and let's figure out how we get from one place to the other. I just moved over 1, 2, 3 hops to the left, and that means I want to move my decimal 3 hops to the left. Now in our example in the notes, we moved the decimal to the right because we moved on the right on our line. We moved to the right on our line, rather. This time we moved to the left, so we need to also move this 1, 2, 3 hops to the left. All right, that means our decimal point is no longer there. It's now in between the 3 and the 2. So our final answer is 3.25. And I'm just going to leave that 0 off the end because we don't need it. So 3.25 is our final answer there. All right, let's do another one. So with this one, starting again at step number 1, rewrite the number with the decimal. This already has a decimal point in it. I'm still going to rewrite it down here to give myself some room to work, but that number already has a decimal in it, so we don't need to put a new decimal at the end. A number can only ever have one decimal. So that's step number 1, rewrite the number with a decimal. Next, I need to find my beginning and end on the line. I'm starting here at kilograms, so I'm starting here, and I'm ending at decagrams, dA. Here's my dA. Okay. This time, in order to get from my starting to my ending, I need to take 1, 2 hops. This time, again, we're moving to the right. So I'm going to take this decimal and move 1, 2 hops to the right. Here's a point. It's not there anymore. And there's one spot. Remember, again, from our example in the notes, we need to fill in empty spaces with zeros. So that needs to be turned into a 0. Our final answer then up here is going to be 5, 6, 0, and the decimal point is there at the end, but I'm going to leave it off because it's not a necessary thing to have there. All right, so 560 decagrams is our final answer. Okay. Got 2 more here. This one I want you to pause the video and see if you can get it on your own without my help. So pause the video, see if you can do this. Hopefully you actually followed my instructions and paused the video, and now you're back. We're starting here at step number 1, rewriting the number with a decimal. So 7, no decimal point displayed there, but we know that our invisible decimal is at the end. Okay. Step number 2, find your beginning and end on the line. We're starting at DA liters. So starting at DA, deca, and we want to end at deci, just the D. All right, to get from deca to deci, that's 1, 2 hops. Again, we're moving towards the right. All right, so we're going to take this decimal. We just found our hops at step number 3. Step number 4, move the decimal in the number. 1, 2 hops. I'm going to put it there, take it out of there, and then we need to fill in these spaces with zeros. Okay, so our final answer then is 700 with a decimal at the end. Again, you can leave that decimal off if you'd like. It's not necessary there, but our answer should be 700. Hopefully you got that on your own. Here's the last one. Try this one on your own. Again, that is 278 centimeters, and we want to know how many meters that is. Let's pause the video and try that one on your own. All right, again, hopefully you paused the video. So, step number 1, rewriting it with a decimal. 278. No decimal visible here, so it must be at the end of this number. Step number 2, find your beginning and end on the line. Well, I want to start at centimeter. So I'm going to start here, and I want to end just at meter. Again, this is something that trips students up. Maybe this tripped you up. This M stands for meter, not for milli. This M stands for milli. Meter is a base unit, so our ending point is at the base unit. Okay, so we're going to take our decimal from our start to our end. We need to go 1, 2 hops, and this time we're going to the left. All right, so we're going to move our decimal 1, 2 hops to the left. Take the decimal out of there, put it here between the 2 and the 7, and our final answer is 2.78 meters. All right. So hopefully with these examples, that should give you a little bit of practice. Hopefully you kind of understand. If you don't understand, shoot me an email. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know in class at some point. Hey, Ms. Richard, I really don't understand this. I'll sit down with you and see if we can help you get it figured out. We're going to be doing lots more practice with this in class. So if you're still not getting it, that's okay. Be patient. Keep trying hard. Work every day, and hopefully we will get there in the end. All right, good luck.